take it from there. Well, it's a real pleasure for me to be able to join you today and talk about what we're doing with our adventure. Let me get my, let's see, let me share my screen for you. If I can operate this. Let's see here. All right, whiteboard, desktop. Here we go. Well, yeah, let's see. So my name is Scott Lord. I'm with Alaska Maritime Physicians. And there, can you see that, Jacqueline? Do you have our slide deck?
I don't see your slide deck just yet, Scott.
Okay.
Do you see a green folder at the bottom where you can share? There we go. Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, perfect. Okay, great. So I'm with Alaska Maritime Physicians. We're local in the Anchorage area. My brother and I, Dr. Lord, have been doing this now for since 2015. So basically, Alaska Maritime Physicians, what we do is urgent and emergent telemedicine for the maritime industry. And so as you folks know, or if you've seen The Deadliest Catch, then those are our customers. So from an entrepreneurial sip, or how you start a business, there was a need and a pain point. So one of the local insurance adjusters was in my Dr. Lord's clinic, and said there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. They were really having a challenge with how they were able to care for these mariners at sea when they couldn't take them to a clinic or whatever. And then how do you do follow-up care with them? And from that interaction, they met for about an hour. And from that interaction, Dr. Lord started Alaska Maritime Physicians to fill that niche. And he asked me to join him in 2017. So during the startup phase of 2015 to 2017, he basically validated a business model that there was a viable market, that the business model that he had come up with was going to be viable and could work. And he called me one day, as he's a healthcare provider. My background is in business. So I worked for Apple, I've worked for BMW, I've worked for some other big companies, and have a business background. And so he told me, if all of our subscribers renew, I'm going to be in trouble and I'm going to need some help running the business. So it was from that opportunity that I joined him in 2017 to work at Alaska Maritime Physicians. I have to say that this has been one of the most rewarding jobs that I've had, because it's such a small business. It's basically he and I we're the business owners, the core, but it allows us to really create and massage and grow a whole business. And so it's been very satisfying on a personal basis, being able to do this and to kind of use the experience that I've had in building a business. So one of the things that I've been working on since 2017 is process and workflows and automation and reporting. And we've also done some succession planning. And so kind of moving from a startup phase to more of a sustainable phase a business that we can keep going on and on, if you would. Basically, we have a pool of on-call doctors that we're 24/7, 365. And so our pool of on-call emergency room doctors are available for our subscribers, for our clients. Whenever they have a need, they can call us to help them. So our niche is really heavy industrial remote locations. So Alaska is a perfect fit for what we're doing. The maritime industry, obviously the commercial fishing fleet out on the water in the Bering Sea and Gulf of Alaska and down the Aleutian chain lends itself to this this whole model. It makes it work really, really good. It's been really good for us, and it's been really good for the mariners in being able to help them. So one of our big challenges is telecommunications. Obviously, we do a lot of ship-to-shore communications with the vessels, and that's always can be interesting, not always reliable. And so we have some challenges in that. And then we also have the largest commercial construction outfit in the state of Alaska. So they're doing a lot of stuff domestically or onshore, on land, all throughout the state. Let's see here. There's two big things that we're able to do since we're licensed in Alaska, and that's we're able to do referrals, prescriptions, and orders, and that turns out to be a really big deal because when you're on a ship and something happens, someone gets sick, they have a laceration or burn or something like that. That allows us to be able to assist them and to get them care and to start a care plan. And then if it's something that's going to take continued work and assistance, and we're there to help them with that. Our real key differentiator for what we do is not only the urgent and emergent telemedicine. We're not really interested in being in the mix of all healthcare. There's just some advantages and disadvantages to being in that space, and we think there's bigger advantages to kind of be at the tip of the spear, meaning that we're highly specialized, and so we have a much lower volume, but we're dealing in pretty high risk kinds of incidents. So being able to service that market, we have an integrated clinical network. We participate with our companies, and when we identify trends, we're able to give feedback to the safety teams and all of that so that they can put it into their fleet. For example, we had a rash of frostbite, and what we were finding out is the guys were working on the deck and they're getting their gloves were wet, and then they were going into the freezer to work, and so we ended up we saw one case of frostbite on one vessel, and then we got another one on a second vessel. And so we were able to work with the safety teams and then get that out so that they could do some more training on board the vessel so that they wouldn't have any more incidents like that. Let's see here. So that is a very quick and dirty kind of high-level overview of who we are and what we do. One of the things that I spoke with Jacqueline about and I wanted to share with you was, as we really started working on and developing this business, collaboration was a big key in our success. And so one of the things that I did that I really liked doing was a collaboration workshop. So when we were initially beginning to start putting together our marketing plan, and let's see, can you see me? Same share. Jacqueline, can you see me there?
Scott, we can see
Oh,
it with the,
so your presentation is a little funny. It's kind of halfway between closing and not closing. I can see you, but just in the gallery view. I still see your screen.
Okay.
So just stop sharing.
Let's see, resume share, stop share, stop share.
There you go.
Okay, all right. So, being a really young and small company, we were trying to find ways of how we could be successful. And I really needed some help working on our marketing plan. And so one of the things that we did was I came up with a collaborative workshop and put together some different people that I'd worked with before. We had a marketing team. I've had some business people who had businesses and not necessarily in the healthcare, but doing collaboration workshops turned out to be a wonderful thing. So what we did was bring 5 or 6 of us together and spent the morning and part of the afternoon just tossing out ideas and bringing everything together that we could. And through that exercise, we were able to build we built our tagline, we got our mission statement, we were able to put together all of the copyright material for our website and then for our marketing material. So I love working with forums like this where collaboration comes together and you get insights from all different individuals to really help grow and build your business. And that was one thing that I was excited about sharing when Jacqueline was telling me about what you're doing with HealthTie and how you guys are trying to build a community to help entrepreneurs grow their businesses. So that's just a quick little story about us and one of the fun things that we've done to help be successful. And I don't know if anybody has any questions or if you wanted to talk about anything.
Well, one thing that I will open it up for questions, but one of the pieces I really liked about your story was how it was an insurance adjuster speaking to your brother that really brought this idea forward. And so it's that collaboration between the different parts of the healthcare industry that identified something and then found a solution that would make it better for everyone involved. I mean, that it really is the purpose behind HealthTie. So I think you're a wonderful model for that. So do you have anything, like right now you're growing, what could this community of stakeholders do for you?
The real tough area for us is our workflows and our processes. And we've got, so it's, the second part of that is we're really low volume. And so I don't have doctors just sitting around waiting to take calls. They may be at their kids' hockey games, when they get a call or whatever. So building our processes and tying all that together. So one of the things that I've been working on is this whole automation, and there's a lot of cloud-based tools out there that are quite interesting. So I don't know if anybody has any work or experience in that, but that's a real area and focus that I'm working on right now.
Well, we definitely have contacts that are in IT and technology and work on that. I'm thinking of a few contacts right now that both Nigel and Kim know. So if you'd like some handoffs to that, we could definitely help you. So can I open it up? Can I open it up to everyone else? Is there any other questions that people might have?
Jacqueline, this is Kai.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really interested in the model that you've got, and I'm just wondering if there's anything to be learned from what you're doing in terms of delivery across the more generalized rural Alaska need for acute health care services that offers, potentially a private approach to what is otherwise a highly institutionalized or government-led approach. I'm just curious what you think about that.
I think our model works to that. It fits to that very well. You could easily take it that way. The way that we work, the way that we charge our customers is we're a subscription-based model. And in the beginning, we were a pay-for-call model. And what we found out was a captain on the vessel, guy, is he really sick or not? And should I make the call or not? And what we wanted to do was take that decision-making out of their hands. So we went to a subscription model, and what that allows us to do is our customers pay a subscription, and then the captains have access to it. So to your point, Kai, with rural Alaska, if you say some of the native corporations, or if there's any other kind of community level like that, they could easily subscribe and then have grant access then to their community, so they could have access to healthcare in this manner.
Wonderful.
I have a question.
Yes.
So do you use, is it phone-based interaction, or do you have some sort of visual with the person who's on the vessel? How does that work? What's the technology look like?
Most of it is just telephonic. Some of the vessels, we deal with a broad range of vessels and land-based operations. So the communications is very broad. So the very basic is just a pure cell phone. Then you have satellite phone. Then we have some vessels that do have internet, satellite internet. But the delays over the satellite are so much that it's really hard to do video over those kinds of connections. So basically we'll do telephonic, and then we'll follow up basically with just email. So if there's pictures or whatever, if there's say there's a laceration on a guy's finger, or maybe an amputation or something like that, they'll send us pictures from the vessel so the doctor can look at it and then make a determination and set up a plan. To that point, this is a really interesting thing, and for us in what we're doing, remote sensors could be a really big deal. So for our bigger vessels, say if you have 30 or more crew members on a vessel, if there was some remote kinds of sensing stuff that we could then share data or collect that data and use that to feed into our medical records, that would be a pretty cool thing.
I think we know of a company that was offering something like that. So I'll look in my notes and see if I can find that information.
Does Mike have a comment?
Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just going to mention to Scott, have you ever heard of a company called MedWand?
Say that again?
Have you ever heard of a company named MedWand, MEDWAND?
No, sir, I have not.
It'd be worth probably checking out. They, for healthcare, basically they sell it's a to-go kit. And if you've got celestial connectivity for internet,
Yes.
their devices are pretty phenomenal for being able to, it's a kit. It's like a first aid kit that you open up, and it's got a couple of different tools that does everything from pictures, blood pressure, temperatures, it does some pretty amazing things, including, eyes and just all kinds of stuff. But your doctors would have to have the same equipment on the other end, whoever the doctors are that are on call. But that's telemedicine probably at its finest, for the ships that have internet connectivity.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're talking about. I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see if I can.
Yes, correct.
This is really interesting. We let me get that out of the way there. This is really interesting, and we work with some companies. So we have several different medical kits. It looks like this is in a Pelican case. So this
Correct.
is exactly the kind of stuff that we're using right now.
Good.
That's a great recommendation. I'll dig into that and see what I can learn. Thank you, Micah.
You're very welcome.
Fantastic. Well, we're slowly wrapping up on time here. What I'd like to encourage everybody to do is provide Scott with some questions. I can link you by email. You can quickly put your information in the chat right now. We do have one chat, or we have a couple of chats. All right, so you're very welcome. And what I'd like to do is I would really like to ask Scott, would you be willing to work with us at HealthTie and maybe come in and mentor some additional new businesses that want to follow your path?
Jacqueline, I would be very happy to do that. That would be a lot of fun for me. And if there's any experiences that I can bring to the table and help a new business or whatever, I would love to participate and be a part of that.
All right, well, thank you. So we really appreciate your support, and we appreciate everybody who's been on the call today. Does my HealthTie team members have any follow-up that they'd like to do?
Oh, I think that's great.
No? Okay.
Yeah, no, I think there's an upcoming Board of Champions call coming up soon, so I think Kim sent out emails on that. And for those who weren't there last week, but I think most people on the line were, Accelerate Alaska was a big success with HealthTie, with commitments made from both the folks who are large stakeholders in the entrepreneurial segment, as well as foundations that are doing that. So I think we are very rapidly moving into this sort of startup phase of HealthTie and trying to engage more growth opportunities as we go forward. So yeah, excited. Good news to report from this end, and a lot of things happening.
Right. I'd like to say a special thank you to Steve, and thank you for your support. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for participating with us today. We'll get this recorded and up online. And thank you, Scott, for sharing your experience with us. It's truly appreciated, and we'll be in touch for sure.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity, and good luck. And be sure and let me know, reach out if there's any way I can help.
Okay, I sure will. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Take care.